We were talking about the beautiful similarities that are there. Not necessarily similarities, but Swami establishing that similarity, because otherwise it's very difficult to, establish that. Because even if you see the difference between the Rama avatar and Krishna avatar, the personality is so different. And Swami would say, that which changes is for momentary joy. The devotees of that era enjoyed that personality. But that which is eternal is the essence. And if you see, the essence of the avatar continues after every avatar. But that is why, the visions of Rama, the visions of such insights have to be given. I recall one of the old devotees used to say, I think he came in the 60s. And the time when he was visiting, there was a pandit who was there in the ashram. And Swami said that now that you are here, why don't you give discourses every day in the evening? Right? So that everybody is is kept busy in some form of satsang. So every day he would give a discourse on something from the Ramayana or the Mahabharata or something like that. So one day he was speaking of the Ramayana. And when he was saying, suddenly Swami stopped him and said, no, it didn't happen like that. So the man looked at his books and he said, but Swami, this is what is mentioned. And he said, no, it didn't happen like that. And then Swami said, it happened like this. The scholar was stunned. He said, Swami, how do you know? Because I was there. Swami said, I am the same Rama. Right? That authority with which he could say, and in fact, I think in our undergraduate, one of the books that we study is Swami's Ramakatha Rasamayani. Yes. And what is told then is a very beautiful approach to Ramakatha Rasamayani, and that is why, as devotees, all of us must read the Ramakatha Rasamayani. Right? If you look at how Valmiki went about writing his version of the Ramayana, as we said, his journey began with that transformation. Yes. And like anybody who transforms, they always look back at their past with a little bit of heaviness. Mm-hmm. So it is believed that Valmiki always thought that I was an imperfect person. And this thought occurred in his mind, could there be a perfect person? Right. Could there be a perfect human being? So this was a thought that was going on in his mind. Can there be a perfect human being? Can there be a perfect human being? And that is when he has the vision of Lord Brahma, who comes and tells him that this is the purpose of your birth, that you are going to write the epic about the most perfect human being, about the Purushottama himself. And then he tells the whole story is going to flash in front of your eyes and you're going to write it. So his entire narration of the Ramayana is the story of the perfect human being.
Perfect person.
Right? Not of the avatar, but a perfect human being.
Perfect man, yeah.
Right? And then when Tulsidas comes, or later when Kamba comes and writes his Kamba Ramayanam, these are people who are looking at their Lord. They are narrating a story of their Lord who has come in a human form. Yes. So the narration is glorious. The narration is with the understandable amount of glorification and the worshipful attitude with which it is written. And then you look at the Ramakatha Rasamayani. As Swami told that Pandit, I was there.
Autobiography.
Right? And it was not written merely from the point of view of Rama. It was also written with the emotions of each of those characters being brought out. And if you read the Ramakatha Rasamayani, many times you will find passages where Swami is talking directly to you. Yes. He's saying, this is the devotion I want. This is what I was pointing to. Right? This is what I meant when I did this or when I said this. And that is the benefit of listening about the Ramayana from Swami. The nuances that are otherwise lost, or the focus that is otherwise lost. Like when we were doing the Satsang on the Ramakatha as part of a radio program, if you see any of the serialized versions of the Ramayana, the Ayodhya Kanda Balakanda comes off quickly because they're all excited about coming to the forest. And that is when the excitement comes. Yes. The demons come and the battles come. But if you see Swami's Ramakatha, so much emphasis is on the portion between the dialogue between Rama and Bharata. Yes. Right. So much Swami writes about it because from Swami's point of view, that is what is important. Right. So much Swami writes about the interaction between Shabari and Rama. So much Swami writes about Guha. Because when you read that version with that weightage being given to different episodes, you start thinking, oh, so all this was so that he could meet all of these people on the way. Otherwise, we think, oh, all of this is so that one day he'll go and kill Ravana. That was also had to happen. But the whole play was so that he could meet Shabari, he could meet Guha, he could meet Sugriva, he could meet Jatayu, he could meet Sampath. All of these. It was a story of the Lord going out in search of his devotees.
This so recently, when we went to Shivam to document, because the Golden Jubilee is coming. And there was a beautiful incident that they narrated, sitting in the lawn of Satyamurti Garu's house, which is right next to Shivam. So Swami was seated there, and then Swami made a very beautiful declaration. He said, only in the time of 2 avatars this has happened. And he said, only in the Rama avatar, I brought people who were needed for the mission. And the second time is now. In this avatar, I brought you all. Wow. I brought you all because each of you has a role to play in my mission.
And he took monkeys and he created marvels out of them. And I think when we look at ourselves, we are all dust, and he has given us little roles to play, and it's only because of his grace that we are here doing whatever we are doing. And as you are mentioning about Ramakatha Raswayini, and that is so profound. When you read Ramakatha Raswayini, you feel he's telling you.
Right.
I think one very powerful trait of Rama, Swami says, is omniscience, omnipotence, and omnifelicity. Omnifelicity means everyone feels that he's my own. And I think
he's talking to you.
He's talking to
in
you.
every gesture and every word.
Yeah. And I think that is so powerful. I think I really urge, we really urge all the readers to read Ramakatha Raswayini, because you will feel that, here is the message that Swami is telling me. Because Swami again and again has mentioned that Ramakatha Raswayini, the story of Rama, is for us to know how we should conduct in our personal lives, in our filial lives, in our social lives, how we should be in our family, what should be the relationship between husband and wife, between brother and sister, between sisters, between co-wives, and I think between all the human relationships are covered in Ramayana. And that is the reason why, as you mentioned, Swami has spent so much time focusing on every character. And when you look at each character, such powerful messages emerge. Take the case of, for example, Kaikeyi. Now, the whole world despises Kaikeyi. The whole world does not want to even utter the name Kaikeyi. But Swami mentions, when Rama was a child, they say that Kaikeyi loved Rama so much. It was Kaikeyi who taught Rama the art of Astra and Shastra. Swami says it was Kaikeyi who took so much interest. Kaikeyi could not live without Rama. Such was Kaikeyi's love. And when you think about it, how could it just change in just one moment that, she wanted Bharata to become the king and, banish Rama to the forest. Even, at a personal level also, it seems so weird that, Kaikeyi
badly plotted story.
Yeah. It's so unreal when you look at, how they were, how that family was. And Swami says, why it happened so? It is because when Kaikeyi was teaching Rama the art of archery, Swami says that it was Rama who pleaded with Kaikeyi and said, Mother, I have a big mission to fulfill, and you have to play a very, very important role. I have come to establish dharma. I have to go and I have to weed out adharma. I have to weed out the Rakshasas, and you have to help me in this. You have to plan that plot. You have the boons with you that Dasharatha has given. So you have to orchestrate this for me.
And in a Trahi session, Swami was narrating this. He says he goes to Kaikeyi and tells her, this is what I want you to do. And I know only you are capable of doing this because you have such love for me.
Yes.
Oh. And then Rama says, for ages to come, people will hate you.
Yes.
Nobody will name their child after you.
Yes.
Are you ready to do this for me?
Yes. So, that is the thing. Perhaps we have no idea of the love that Kaikeyi had for Rama to be able to take so much of insult, so much of ignominy, so much of ridicule for generations. And I think that shows us what is truly love for God mean. If you really love the Lord, nothing will matter to you. Your fame, your name, your wealth, your reputation, nothing matters. If His will is to be done, it is for the sake of Rama, it is for the sake of Dharma, and I am nothing. And I think that is such a powerful message. And you look at so many other characters. Take, for example, Urmila. When Lakshmana was leaving for the forest, Urmila takes a vow from Lakshmana saying, promise me that for the next 14 years, you are not going to think of me even for a second. I mean, which wife will tell that? Which wife will say that, I just don't want you to think about me at all? Because you are with Rama, do that duty well. And I should not become a hindrance in your seva to Rama. Take the case of Mandavi. Mandavi, Bharata's wife, when Bharata decided to lead an austere life in Nandigrama, Mandavi said, why should I live in the palace? So she also came and she also lived along with Bharata, and she also led the kind of life that Sita was leading with Rama in the forest. And the character about him we hardly talk about, Shatrughna. Swami says, Bharata was supposed to rule the kingdom, but Bharata was there fully in Rama Chintana. He was fully only thinking about Rama, because worshipping Rama, he was not in a frame of mind to do the administration of the kingdom. It was only because of Shatrughna that the kingdom was safe. Because as his name said, people feared, Shatrus, enemies feared Ayodhya because Shatrughna was in control.
And they say Ramaraja began in Shatrughna's rule.
Shatrughna's rule.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he was the one who was ruling.
Exactly. So here was one who was so devoted to Bharata that, okay, let Bharata do whatever penance he wants to do. Let Rama go, let Lakshmana go, but I will take up everything that has to be done and do it for the love of my brothers. And I think take every character that way. You cannot but allow your heart to melt and seek Bhagawan's grace to see if you can imbibe even an iota of the virtues that each of these characters of Ramayana possess. Take the case of Jatayu. Jatayu being a bird, she said, what is the point of my life if I cannot protect a woman being abducted by a demon? If I cannot do that, what is the point of my wings? What is the point of my strength? And what kind of funeral did Jatayu get? Lord Rama kept Jatayu on his lap. I don't think anyone has had that kind of a funeral. So let's take up any character of Rama, and if you read Ramakatha Rasavahini, the way these characters emerge and speak to you, that would be the message that Swami is giving each one of us, isn't it?
In fact, there's a very beautiful analogy Swami gives in one of his discourses. He says, it's like a village drama is going on. A village drama is going on in which the person who's playing the role of Ravana, his actual name is Rama. He says Rama is the person who's playing the role of Ravana. So even in the Ramayana, everybody is Rama. Everybody is the same, but they're playing different roles.
Right, and talking about the lesser known characters or redemption of certain characters. I think in my undergraduate I had heard this discourse where Swami is speaking about the killing of Vali. Right, and the way Swami described it, it'll fill you with awe at the character that Vali was. Right, Swami says that we all know the story. He hides behind the bush, he shoots that arrow, and Vali falls. And then Rama goes in front of him, and Vali asks him, Rama, why did you do this? Right, because for centuries to come, people will question you. You could have come before me. I would have been happy to die at your hand. And Rama says, no, this is all part of what had to happen, so it had to happen. And then Vali is like, so moved. He said, I understand. If you have come to stand by Sugriva, I understand that I must have done something really wrong. And I repent wholeheartedly for it. And he calls Angada and he says that, you should not have any enmity towards Sugriva. You should treat him like your father and all of that. So he's like completely filled with remorse and transformed. And Swami says that Rama tells him, Vali, I will give you back your life. right? I will, now that you have changed your mind, I will give you back your life. And Vali tells him, Rama, do you think I'm a fool? Vali says, do you think I'm a fool? That fortune that the great Dasharatha did not have, I have, of dying in your presence. And he says, I have that much wisdom that I should not let go of this opportunity.
Amazing.
Imagine, every character of the Ramayana that way. When Swami says, I know the feeling which was going in their mind, that's what it is. I recall, we had Ramanavami this year on 30th of March. When I was in my second year of postgraduate, 2004, Ramanavami coincidentally fell on the same date, 30th of March. Okay. And we had put up a program in front of Swami, and we wanted to enact the story of the Kevat, the boatman, right? It's a very beautiful, one of the most fascinating stories. The vow that Rama takes as an avatar is that I'm going to behave human. Right, all through. So whenever the rishis come and try to praise Rama says, I don't know what you're speaking about. I'm after all a prince of Ayodhya, the son of Dasharatha. Correct. And they say, we know that. So all through he tries to maintain the integrity of that character that he had taken. So when he comes to this boatman, the boatman recognizes that this is not an ordinary human being. And he knows that no worshipful acts directed towards Rama is going to be accepted. Right? He wants to do the Pada Puja of Lord Rama. He says Rama is not going to accept because he is going to say, I'm after all a human being. I'm in the role of a mendicant and all of that. So the boatman comes and tells him, I heard that merely by touch of your feet, a rock turned into a woman. Referring to Ahalya's redemption. I'm a poor boatman. I have one boat. Right? With that I'm providing for my family. Now if you get into my boat and it turns into a woman, I cannot handle that. I lose my livelihood and I have one more woman to take care of. He said, so Rama understands. He says, what do you want me to do? He says, nothing. I will just wash your feet. Right? I'll wash your feet and then you get into my boat. So Rama says, okay. And then he washes his feet. And silently, it seems, he takes that water and sends it to his family. He says, drink it. There is no tirtham, there is no water holier than this. Right? And then he takes him on the boat. And then when he gets off, Rama becomes very restless because he doesn't have anything to give for this favor that this boatman has offered. So seeing this restlessness, Mother Sita recognizes that this is what is running in Rama's mind. So she removes one of the rings that she has and gives it to Rama and says, and immediately Rama gives it to that Kevat and he says, what are you doing? Don't you know there is a dharma within, in every profession? Rama says, what are you saying? That a barber doesn't charge a barber. A dhobi doesn't charge a dhobi. Oh. He says that is the dharma which is maintained in every profession. Within the profession, you cannot charge that. Rama says, but I don't understand. But why shouldn't you take from me? He says, because we are in the same profession. And Rama says, what do you mean? He says, I take people from this bank to that bank. Are you not the Lord who takes us from this bank of samsara to that bank of samsara? He says, when we both are in the same profession, how can I take from you? Right? And Swami would narrate this and say, this is like, the purest form of devotion being expressed and wisdom. So we had wanted to display, enact this scene. So we wanted to do it a little differently. So what we did was we had only one person doing a mono act. Okay. Right? So he's the Kevat. He's the Kevat, right? And the whole thing was in Telugu. The boy was very good at Telugu, so he had written the dialogues and all that. So only the Kevat is going to act, and all the dialogues that the Kevat tells Lord Rama, the boy delivers it looking at Swami. Okay. And Swami was so overwhelmed when it was being done, and Swami was voicing, what that boy was telling, because at that moment, I think Swami was just reliving the emotions of that simple boatman.
Yemina bhagyamu sakshattu Sri Ramachandrude Sita Lakshmana sametamuga nadi idadaniki na nava vaddaku vacharu. Rama, nee seva chese bhagyamu నాకు ఈ విధంగా ప్రసాదించావా? రా రామా, ఈ నావ మీద ఈ నదిని మనం దాటుదాం. కానీ రామచంద్ర, అరణ్యమునందు సంచరించుచున్నప్పుడు నీ పాదము తాకి రాతి నాతిగా మారిందని విన్నాను. నాకు ఈ నావయే జీవనాధారము. ఇప్పుడు నీ పాదము తాకి నా నావ నాతిగా మారిన నా భార్యాబిడ్డలను ఏ విధంగా పోషించేది? రామా, అందుకనే నీ పాదములు నా నావ మీద అడుగు పెట్టడానికి ముందు నీ పాదములు ఈ నీటితో కడగడానికి అనుమతిని ప్రసాదించమని కోరుకుంటున్నాను. రామా.
Thus, cleansing the feet of the Lord with the holy waters of the Ganges, the boatsmen ferried them across the river. And as Lord Rama got down on the other bank, he felt that he should give something to the boatman. And as his disposition was, Mother Sita understood the situation, and she immediately removed the ring from her finger and gave it to the Lord. And the Lord, in all his love and compassion, was just about to give the ring when...
రామా, ఈ ఒడ్డు నుంచి ఆ ఒడ్డుకు దాటించినందుకు నాకు మూల్యముగా అంగుళీకమునిస్తున్నావా? అయినా ఒకే వృత్తి వారి దగ్గర నుంచి నేను మూల్యముని ఏ విధంగా స్వీకరించను? నేను ఈ జనులను ఈ ఒడ్డు నుంచి ఆ ఒడ్డుకు దాటిస్తే శ్రీరామచంద్రుడు ఈ జీవకోటిని, ఈ భవసాగరమును దాటిస్తాడు. రామా, నీ వృత్తి నా వృత్తి ఒకటే. నేను నీ దగ్గర నుంచి ఈ అంగుళీకమును ఏ విధంగా స్వీకరించను రామా?
This is Ramakatha Rasavahini, means that essence is in these characters.
Guha, talking about Guha, there's another beautiful mention in Ramakatha Rasavahini. Swami says, his simple devotion is so deep. He says, Rama, you should come to our city, because the city of Nishada, where he is a chief, he says, you should come there and you should bless us. And then Rama says, see, according to my father's this thing, I cannot go into any cities. I have to stay only in the forest. Correct. So I cannot come into cities and towns. I have to live in the forest. So I cannot come. But the Guha immediately said, no, but you can do one thing. Then he says, what is it? He says, here is a Shimsupa tree. He says, it's, I believe, a tall, like a redwood, Indian redwood tree. He says, you climb on that tree. Okay. And you just look in the direction of my city. Wow. That is enough. Wow. You just look into my city and town, and that's enough to bring all the prosperity. When you listen to this, such a beautiful story, you're reminded of what is mentioned in the Bible. There's a story from the Bible where there's a Roman officer who comes to Christ, and he says, my servant is not keeping well. Can you please cure him? And Christ says, okay, I'll come. Then he says, no, that is not required. He says, but you want me to cure your servant? I'm ready to come. He says, see, I hold a rank in the Roman army, and there are superiors and there are people who are below me. When they command, I have to do. When I command, others have to do it. So you need not come. You just have to say the word and my servant will be cured. And then then Christ turns to his disciples and says, see, this is faith. And he tells him, your faith has cured your servant. You go home. So that one look, that one glance is so amazing. And that was known to Guha. See, he knew that one look of Lord Rama and the whole city will have that prosperity.
You're talking about looks, of course, it's not completely connected to what you're saying. The other beautiful episode that Swami narrates and gives the inner meaning of that, when Rama is in the ashram of sage Bharadwaja, right? They're all in the garb of mendicants. And Swami says, this tradition was followed not only in Kulanthal, even in that time, because the men and women would be sitting in separate quarters. But all the, the Rishi Patnis...
And there was a sort of a wall dividing.
All the Rishi Patnis were very keen to know who's Rama, because they've heard so much about him. Mother Sita is in their quarters with them, and all of these Rishis and, the people in the ashram, and also Rama and Lakshmana are seated there. So they come to Mother Sita and ask, who is Rama in this? So they start describing the men who are sitting there. Is it this person who has a smile like this? She says, no. is it this person? He has a beard like this. I don't know what they would have told. And she keeps saying no, no. Then they come to Lakshmana. Is he this? Lakshmana is supposed to be very, very handsome and very sharp in his features. So they describe Lakshmana, she says no. Then finally they come to Rama and they start describing him, like the color of the dark rainy cloud and all of that. When they describe Rama, Sita puts her head down and smiles. Right? She doesn't say no, she doesn't say yes. And what a beautiful interpretation Swami gives for this. He says that the mind, when it is trying to recognize Atma, it sees all the experiences and objects in the world and keeps saying Neti, 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 Neti. When it finally comes face to face with the Atma, that Sakshatkar happens, the only answer can be silence.
So beautiful.
So beautiful.
I think as you read the Ramakatha Rasavayini, these jewels keep coming out from every page actually. I think as you read Ramakatha Rasavayini, you will find so many such characters. Take the case of Shabari, for example. I mean, Bhagawan goes on describing about Shabari's piety.
In fact, there is this beautiful story we hear in Parthi when Swami was walking one day and he comes back inside his room and he's so thrilled. His face is glowing. And he's like hurriedly goes and sits on the sofa and he opens an old bag which was given which he had collected in the darshan, and he was so happy because it had groundnuts in it. He said, and he patiently took and ate. They boil it in a particular way, and so Swami was enjoying those groundnuts. And everybody was seeing this and they said, oh, this is wonderful. And then what he said after that was more interesting. He said, keep this bag carefully because tomorrow I have to go and return it back. This is an old lady who had her own farm and she would grow these groundnuts, and I believe every year she would come, take the harvest from that, and she would prepare these groundnuts and bring to Swami. And so, with so much of relish, Swami took each of those groundnuts and dutifully returned the bag to her.